My dad taught me from a very early age, be at one with the snake. Feel it, son. And I am. Woo! I've got to get the camera. I've got to be right in there. I have to get right fair smack into the action. Here we go, look at this. I'm going to push it. I'm going to push it to the limit. Danger, danger, danger. John.
Here's Aloisi for a place in the World Cup.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Australia. A very happy Friday morning to you.
So long as we possibly can, we ought to aim at having a homogeneous population. I don't want to see reproduced in Australia the kind of problem they have in South Africa, or in America, or increasingly in Great Britain. I think it's been a very good policy, and it's been of great value to us.
We need more workers. Employers, politicians, well, practically everyone agrees on that.
New figures this week show Australia's population is growing fast, now nudging 27 million, an increase of 660,000 in the year to September, 83% of that from overseas migration.
If I came up to you in public and I asked you, what is it to be an Australian? You know, what is Australian culture? I can guarantee you, in modern Australia in 2025, every single answer would vary. They would be completely different from one another, and it just shows you how divided we are as a country. Unless you're living under a rock, like Patrick the Star from SpongeBob, I'm sure you're aware of the march that's happening at the end of this month. And online, I'm seeing a lot of people speak out to, why they're marching. And a lot of people are disregarding the main problem, which is mass immigration, which is letting people that do not share our values into this country. Because once they become the majority, that's it. They're not assimilating. And I know online I'm going to cop a lot of shit. Oh, aren't your family immigrants? Oh, this, that. Yes, you're right. My family came in the 50s, early 60s, but they assimilated into this country. And because they were the minority, they were surrounded by other Aussies, so they pick up everything. They pick up the slang, they pick up what they eat, they pick up their mannerisms. Fast forward to 2025, when you're importing 1,500 people a day, okay, that's over 1 million people in the last couple of years. When you're making them the majority, they will live like they do at home. And I see that around me. Okay, and I'll give you an example just so you can understand. When I'm walking my dog, you shouldn't be burning fucking garbage on your front nature strip. And I'm talking a large flame, okay? And that was an Indian man. And that's not me being racist. This is what I've seen, okay? That's one example. Another example of these immigrants coming and that do not obey our law, that do not understand anything, they're just given everything, is on the road. And this is why we have so many car accidents in Australia. It's not because of speeding. It's not because P-plates are in their Golfs fucking going quick. No. It's because these people cannot drive. Okay? And I see that every day I drive to work. There's some incident or there's something going on that just doesn't make sense. If you're going 20 under the speed limit, I'm going to beep you. I've got places to be. I've got my own life. Okay, I consider other people. I don't deserve to get flipped off in your rearview mirror and you continue to go the same speed or start brake checking me. That's when we have problems. And that has if you know me, that's happened a lot to me, okay? And the thing about me is, if you do something like that, I'll make sure you know you're doing the wrong thing. Okay? And I feel like a lot of Aussies need to start doing that. You can't let these people come here that aren't even trying to assimilate. If you're trying, fair enough. fair play. But if you just come here and you're taking all our resources, all our hard-earned, I've been working full-time since I was 19. Saving money, working, our tax is fucked here. All that money goes to these people coming. And I look to my left and I see Aussies starving and Aussies in the streets. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Why do we have machete bins now in Australia if race isn't a thing? Answer that. When I was growing up, there were no Africans with machetes. Now, for whatever reason, Africans love machetes. I don't know why. Whatever reason. That's the thing about this country. If you're bringing people here, they need to share the same values of the people that built this country, that made it what it is. Okay? And that's why I'm frustrated. People online will say this, will say that, but no, this is the reality we live in. And if we don't do something soon, it's finished. Australian culture will be gone. All I see around me are stores that are not Australian, that have no fucking English. How is that allowed? I go to my local shops. Every store there, Indian, you got Arabic writing, Chinese writing. That is a disgrace. I'm sorry, but it is. Even if I saw Serbian stores everywhere, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on? This shouldn't be here. And that's the problem I have. And I'm, I want to have a big family. I'm at that point in my life where, I want to buy some land, build a beautiful home, start a family. That's where I'm at in my life. But now I have to consider where do I want to do that? Do I want to do it in Melbourne? Do I want to do it here where I live? While knowing it's only going to get worse within the couple, next years. That's where I'm at. And I feel like a lot of Aussies are at that point. That's why a lot of them are fleeing to Queensland. But the thing with that is I don't want to destroy Queensland because Queensland's beautiful. And the thing is, I can kind of relate to the immigrants that are coming in the way of when I was in primary school, I got teased for being a wog. If you don't know what a wog is, people basically from the Mediterranean, Eastern Europe, you got your Italians, Greeks, Serbs, etc. Okay. When I was young, I got teased for being a wog because I was so proud of where my country came from, probably just like these immigrants, okay? I told them, fuck you Aussies, this, that. That's how I was when I was little. Only now, as I've grown up, I can see how stupid I was and how wrong I was for thinking that and saying those things because their ancestors built this country. They built what my family came to. So I need to respect that. So when these immigrants are coming, they're coming and they love being Indian or they love being from where they are. They embrace it and they won't change. And because they become the majority now, they will stay that way and they will remain that way. I couldn't stay, I had to, slowly adapt into that life and learn how they live because Aussies, to my family, live different. I'll give you an example. My best mate is Aussie. Went to his house when I was little and his mum, were playing with our toys, whatever. His mum comes to us and says, do you boys want tea? And I'm thinking, tea? I don't drink tea. I said that. I said, oh, I'm good, thank you. I don't drink tea. And she goes, no, not tea, dinner. I was like, what? That blew my mind because I never heard that. And I went to my mum and I'm like, they call tea dinner, right? We adapted to the way they live. That's why that's why I'm very vocal about this. I understand how they think a little bit because I was like that when I was a kid. So that's why when I see, these people come with 7 kids and I can already see that path where they're going to end up. Not all of them. I'm not saying every single kid's gonna be fucked, but for the most part, I know how they act. I was around some of them. I was around certain cultures, certain groups of people, and I know their trouble, and when they become the majority, this is a result. You're seeing what's happening. You're seeing more homes getting broken into. My car got broken into, the end of last year. like my whole street. This is why we have a result of machete bins, where we're spending millions on bins because of a certain group of people. You understand? Do you understand? I feel like I'm a dickhead sometimes when I try and explain this to people, because they look at me with like stars in their eyes and they have no idea. It's like they're, and it's frustrating, because we need to save this country. We need to unify under one flag. That's what makes us stronger. That's what makes this country great. But it's fading. It is fading. And each year that passes, it's only going to get worse, because they're importing immigrants that will continue to vote Labour, who will continue to do damage to this country. That's the thing. I don't blame these people coming here. They're coming from countries that are underdeveloped, that are war-torn countries, that are honestly shitholes compared to what is here. So of course they're going to take advantage. Of course they're going to come here and be so happy they're getting money and they're getting free accommodation. They don't give a fuck about Aussies. They couldn't care less. They care about that paycheck. But this is why I'm marching. This is why I'm marching. I'm marching to stop this invasion, because that's what it is. Call it whatever you want, but that's what it is. And this is my way of hopefully getting other people to understand, open their eyes a little bit, because things are going to change. Things have already changed. So if you don't wake up, you don't smarten up now, shit's fucking finished. I hope to see you on the 31st, waving your Australian flag. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be filming. I want to create a documentary, because this could be a huge, huge event. And I'm hoping it's for the better. So, yeah, I'll see you guys then.